Hello again. I'm here with a Konami X-Man 4-player PCB. I'm real excited about this one. It's working fine, bought off eBay with the exception of no sound. These boards are common for the sound having a fault, and it's usually due to this chip right here. This chip right here has a bunch of capacitors on it that tend to leak, and it basically renders the sound useless. You get no sound whatsoever. But fortunately, there's a guy, you should check out his website. He has a lot of quality equipment on there, Ian Kellogg. He reproduces a chip just like this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just solder this chip out of here, and then put a socket in there, because anytime I take something surface mounted out, I make sure I put a socket, so if you have a problem in the future, you can always remove it easily. The only thing that's difficult about these is there's two chips on the bottom. One of them you could buy from Ian for an extra $10, and he'll actually solder it on, put it for you, so you can see having chips on there. One of these are on here as well on the bottom side. I'll show you that. But that second chip location, there are folks in there. The second chip location is actually a custom Konami chip that you can't reproduce. So what I'm going to have to do is, once I get this chip out, and I'll show you guys, I'm going to have to take that custom Konami chip and solder it onto the back of this, back onto this location right here. It's very difficult. You can see it's very fine soldering. Not too good at it, but I'll give it a shot, see what you got. Once I have that, I'm going to solder this back in here with a socket, and hopefully that brings us back to life. Get some sound. I'm real excited about this one, guys. It's a little bit of work though. Again, these Konami boards are they're known for this chip failing, and sometimes you gotta be careful because this actually will leak and it'll burn some of the traces. I looked over this one. This one looks pretty clean. It's just on top of this chip. All right, I'll be back soon. All right, so I got that sound chip off. You can see right here. I just clipped the legs off and then desoldered all the legs. That kind of thing fell apart on me as I was taking it apart. See right over here. Now what I'm going to end up doing is put a socket in here, so that way if you ever have any problems, anytime I take something surface mounted out, the legs are a little closer together than a normal ROM, but you can buy sockets for these, put it in there, and that way if you ever have any problems with the sound chip again, take it out. Alright, the reproduction one from Ian Kellogg is right here. Alright, there's two chips that you have to transplant over. He can provide one for $10, which I just had him put it in there because these little legs and the fine soldering is tough. So the least amount I have to do, the better. But you can see on the back of these chips, the bad original, I took them both off here. And here's the custom one. This is the one you have to transplant over. So this little guy is going to go into here. I'm going to solder it in. It's going to be a real pain in the ass because it's just so tight. I'm not very good with that fine soldering. I took the other one off as well. Normally you can take that one off if you want to save yourself $10 and then transplant it over here. And so I just paid Ian an extra $10 and he soldered it on there for me. Alright, that's that chip right there. To take these off, you can do it with a soldering iron, but I wouldn't suggest that unless you have some really good skills with that. I ended up using my hot air station here, and it popped right off. Put a little flux on there and it popped right off. Just be real careful because these legs are really fine. Alright, so I'm going to transplant on here. And then after I put a socket on the board, I'm going to put this in, and hopefully it boots up with the sound, and I never have to worry about it again. Hopefully, let's cross my fingers. But this one right here, this Konami chip, is a custom chip. You can't just buy these. This one is you can buy. It's like $10, give or take. Like I said, I paid Ian $10 to put it on there, but that one's like a generic chip that you can find. But this one is custom, so you got to transplant that from here, put it on here. Let's hope it works. So I'm here with the chip. I transplanted the one little micro chip in there. It was a real pain in the ass. I would suggest you get yourself a real fine tip soldering gun. This is my normal one. That's too big. You would have to get a real fine tip for that. But I got a fine tip one. I was able to transplant the chip. I would suggest when you do it, get a voltmeter and see if there's any continuity between the pins and where they go to, where the traces lead to. That way you don't have any issues. The first couple times I missed about 10 pins that I thought I had good solder on, and I wasn't getting any readings, so I had to redo those. So I would definitely suggest checking it with a voltmeter first to see if there's any continuity. Additionally, like I said, I got this socket here. I had to chip off. Here's the socket I actually got. They're a little bit tighter than a normal EPROM. So I mean the pins are a lot closer. So I soldered this in. I had to chip this off. If it's all good, I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue little supports on here as well, but just to make it so it's space. So I'm going to end up putting this chip in here with the socket. So if I have any issues, I can pop it back out. This is all soldered in now. I'm going to test it in the cab and just cross my fingers. Hopefully this brings it back. So I got the X-Men in the cabinet. Sound chip replaced. Let's see what we got. Well, it looks good. So there's a little bit of a pain in the butt to solder that chip on there, but thanks to Ian Kellogg, we were able to bring these back to life, all these X-Men. I believe there are other Konami chips that are in the works as well, but you know, I know this one's all set and ready to go on his website. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks for watching.